Hello friends, welcome to Adobe XD video tutorials series. In the previous video tutorials, we understood what is Adobe XD and what is it used for, how to create and view XD documents, Adobe XD user interface overview, how to create and manage artboards in Adobe XD, how to work with line tool, rectangle tool, ellipse tool, polygon tool, pen tool and text tool. In this video, we understand how to work with images guys. So let's get started. You can import an image by going to file menu, say import, and then select the image and say import. That is how you can import a single image. I delete it, go to file menu, say import. You can select multiple images and say import. Here you can see we have imported multiple images guys. So we can import single image as well as we can import multiple images. Once you import an image, you can modify its properties in the property inspector guys. Like for example, we can change the width of the image, right? We can change the height of the image, and observe that if I change the width, height is also changing. If I change the height, width is also changing. Why? Because there is a lock option. If you unlock it, then it is not going to maintain the aspect ratio. If you change the width, only width is going to change. If you change the height, only height is going to change guys. Understanding? You can also change the X position of the image. You can change the Y position of the image. You can rotate the image if you want. You can rotate the image. Let me set this rotation back to 0 degree. And then you have the option to flip horizontal, flip vertical, flip horizontal, flip vertical, right? And then we have horizontal scroll option. So we can mask some part of the image or hide some part of the image. If I click on the play button, user can horizontally scroll and view other part of the image guys, right? You can say remove horizontal scroll and add vertical scroll. So if I reduce the size here and play, user can vertically scroll and see the hidden part guys. That's horizontal scroll, vertical scroll. You also have the option to add both horizontal and vertical scroll. Horizontal and vertical scroll. So this is a scrollable area guys. If I click on the play button, here user can horizontally scroll as well as vertically scroll guys, right? I disable it. I'm going to delete this. I say file, import, select the Cola image, say import, and then I'm going to reduce its width. See, I'm reducing the width. I place it here. I say alt drag to duplicate, alt drag to duplicate, alt drag to duplicate. If I click on the play button, you see all the images are scrolling. If I'm scrolling the artboard, all images are scrolling. Let's say I want to fix this image in its position. For that, we click on fix position when scrolling. If I enable this fix position when scrolling, this image is going to fix in its position while scrolling. If I click on the play button and scroll, you see that this image is not scrolling at all, right? The other images are scrolling, the first image is not scrolling guys. So if I disable and play, now all the images are going to scroll guys. So that's about fix position when scrolling. Next we have opacity. We can control the opacity of the image, hide and show. And if I select this and say Ctrl D to duplicate, see we have one more duplicate created on the same place. We can blend the images. So if I say darken, this image becomes a little bit darken. Multiply, see the effect you can see here, multiply, color burn, lighten, right, screen. So there are many other options we have in this place, you can see that, right, exclusion. So different effects you can create. We have two images here, you can see that. I'm going to delete this image. Let's select this one. Next, we can control the corners of the image. Okay, we can control the corners of the image. Let's select this image, and I selected the first one, and if I change the value, you can see the corners are rounding, right? The corners you can control whether to show sharp corners or round corners. You can decide. All corners are changing, right? If I select this one, we can individually control the corners. So top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, and bottom left guys, right? We can add the border if we want. So we can decide the border color, let's say black, and we can increase or decrease the thickness of the border here. And we can decide whether to display the border inside, outside, or center. Inside, outside. And we can decide the thickness of dashes, what we are getting here, dashes. And we can decide the gap between the dashes here. Okay, what should be the gap? We can decide the thickness of dashes. And we can also decide whether the dashes should be displayed as a square box or oval shape. See, we are getting here capsule shape, capsule or square box. See, interesting, right? Let me set the gap 0 and dashes 0. We got the solid line here, you can see that. Next we have effects here, like we have inner shadow, drop shadow, background blur and object blur. So if I select the inner shadow, we'll get the shadow inside guys, inside the border area. So let's say full black, or let's say red color we'll choose. We can decide the X offset, we can decide the Y offset, we can decide the blur amount. See, whether you want to get the shadow sharp or soft shadow, you can decide, right? So let's disable this. We can add shadow outside, so that is drop shadow. Okay, let's say red color and make it full opacity 100%. We can decide the X offset, we can decide the Y offset, we can decide whether to have sharp shadow or soft shadow guys. If I change this to black, that's how it looks guys. Fine. So that's about inner shadow and drop shadow for outer shadow guys. So if I bring this image, let's say I have an image here, and let me add a border to this, and let's change the color to black. Okay, and let me reduce the size a little down here, and also I increase the corner radius, let's say here like this. Okay, rounding we are doing here. Okay, now here we have background blur. So if I enable this, so anything is in the back side of this image, the selected image is going to be blurred out, and you can decide the blur amount. See this part, we can decide how much it should blur, or whether it should be clearly visible or blurred out. Next we have object blur. Object blur blurs the selected object itself. So we can decide whether the selected object is blurred more or less. You can decide the blur amount guys. So that's about object blur. That's the effects part guys. Okay, next let's delete this and select this and go back to 33% scale. Okay, now you observe here, next we have responsive resize. So if I go to manual, you can clearly see how it is set up. It is fixed from the top. Let's say I want it should be fixed from the left side also. Now what happens if I reduce the size or increase the size? See, the image is fixed in its position. It is actually from the left side maintaining its distance. From the top edge it is maintaining the distance guys. Whether I increase or decrease the width of artboard, there is no change in the position of the image, right? So you can decide like this, fix left, fix top, fix right, like that. You have the option guys, which is very useful while designing responsive user interfaces. And there is one cool option we have. If you are creating the gallery or something, then you can use this repeat grid option. If you select this, no, you can repeat the image. See, you can repeat the image horizontally and vertically. Let's delete these images, right? And if you go here, it makes actually a group guys. It makes this a group. Now if you say ungroup grid, then you have individual images accessible. Let's say I want to change this image to something else. I can right click, and there is an option to replace image. I select jellyfish and say import. See, we got the jellyfish image. I select this, right click, replace image, and say tulips. I say import. See, we got this. Let's say I delete this thing. Okay, delete this. I select these images, and again I say repeat grid and drag like this. See, we can make the image gallery very easily guys, and we can change the distance here. You can see we can change the distance. So all that option is available here. If you say ungroup grid, then you can access individual parts. If you double click, you can go again, select the inner image guys. So it's just a group of images what you are creating here. That's it guys for this video tutorial. I hope you guys have clearly understood how do we work with images in the Adobe XD. I suggest you people to try whatever I explained in this class. Experiment, okay, try changing the properties and see how it works. Okay, for this video tutorial, this much is enough guys. In the upcoming video tutorials, we discuss more about Adobe XD. If you like this video, hit the like button and share with your friends so that everyone will get benefited. For more benefits and be up to date, do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Keep learning, keep designing, keep sharing. Thank you guys, thank you very much. See you in the next tutorial.